In this video, we're going to be talking about the best Bluetooth connected hearing aids on the market as of early 2025. I'm going to talk you through my 7 favorite options across care methods, from prescription all the way to over-the-counter and even some consumer audio products. I've personally spent time testing each of the products we'll talk about today for their Bluetooth connectivity strength, meaning how far can you get away from your phone before the Bluetooth connection begins to break up. Also, the connection method for your Bluetooth, so how easy it is to actually get connected with your phone, and of course, device compatibility for Android and iPhone users. We're going to get into all of that in this video. If we haven't yet met, my name is Blake Cadwell. I'm the co-founder at Soundly.com. We're one of the leading resources for hearing health research and shopping in the United States. You can head over to the site at any time to take our hearing test, connect with our team directly, or read lots of resources on all things related to hearing health. If you like what you see in this video, I'd appreciate it if you give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It helps this video reach more people. With that, let's dig into the best Bluetooth hearing aids on the market. Okay, so if you're researching hearing aids, there's lots to consider, and we cover all of those topics on our channel, from care method to price to overall sound quality and background noise. These are all important elements to think about as you're selecting a pair of hearing aids. But one specific question that we get from a lot of viewers and visitors over at Soundly.com is, what are the best Bluetooth connected hearing aids on the market? I want hearing aids that can stream phone calls and music directly into my ears, so that I don't have to take my hearing aids off and switch over to something like headphones. In general, underlying that question, folks are really looking for a few things. They're asking about sound quality, what has the best Bluetooth streaming sound quality. They're asking about strength of connection, which devices are actually reliably able to hold a connection with my phone. And they're asking about connectivity, which ones are easy to connect to and connect to a wide variety of devices. In this video, we're going to talk about my 7 favorites. As we go through each product in this video, I'll talk you through each of those key elements. Now, it's worth noting that if you are earlier in your research phase and you're not yet ready to just focus on Bluetooth, we do have an overall best hearing aids video, which I'll link somewhere up here. You can take a look at that. That talks more broadly about the options on the market. Now, we'll talk about a lot of the same brands because we're not bringing you products that are no good at anything else and just good at Bluetooth. We're really looking at the subset of best hearing aids, and then we're looking specifically at Bluetooth connection in this video. So let's jump right in. We're going to start with 3 products that are found in the prescription channel. So these are products you would get at a local doctor. Typically, they're going to cost a few $1,000s to $5,000 or $6,000, depending on where you purchase them, and they'll come with professional care. Now, all of the products that we talk about in the prescription channel are receiver and canal devices. So they sit behind the ear, a little wire goes up over the top of the ear, and this is the speaker that plays both the outside world sound that you're amplifying, like speech around you, and also the streaming sound that you might be sending in from your phone. Now, the reason that we're talking about receiver and canal devices is that this extra space, which sits behind the ear, is where the manufacturer typically puts all the extra tech to allow for a strong, stable Bluetooth connection. There are a couple in-ear options in the market, but typically their performance is quite a bit lower, and receiver and canal is typically where you're going to need to focus if you want Bluetooth connection. So let's jump right in with our first choice in the prescription category, and that is the Phonak Sphere Infinio. This is currently the flagship from the largest manufacturer of hearing aids in the world, Sonova. Sonova also makes Sennheiser products in the over-the-counter category, which we'll talk about in just a moment. But there are a couple of reasons that the Phonak Sphere Infinio sits atop our list for best Bluetooth connected hearing aids in the prescription category. The first is that these are universally connected devices. They use something called Bluetooth Classic, which basically just means you'll go into your general Bluetooth settings and you'll tap your Phonak hearing aids, and everything else will work from there. You don't need to manage your Bluetooth through the accessibility settings, which is true for some other manufacturers. This means that both iPhones and Android devices can connect seamlessly to this product. It also means you can connect to a TV or a laptop quite simply, so it's a very versatile connection style and strategy. Now, the other reason we give Phonak top marks for their Bluetooth connection is that they have a really strong Bluetooth connection. So if I go back even one product generation to the Phonak Lumity, which is the former flagship, I could only walk about 30 or 40 feet away from my phone before things started to crackle and break up. This new product allows me to go 75 or even 100 feet away before I start losing connection with my phone. That strength of connection gives me a lot of confidence as I'm moving around my home, maybe cleaning the kitchen and streaming through my devices. Now, in order to prepare for this video, we took all of the products that we're going to talk about today and we put them through a simple test. We streamed music starting here in our studio, and then I walked around the corner past the kitchen into our lobby until I started to lose Bluetooth connection. Now, most of the devices on this list got me fully around the corner and about 50 feet away, so they're all pretty stable. But Phonak was neck and neck with Apple AirPods for the longest overall range, the ability to hold that connection with my phone. All right, so the second product on our best overall prescription hearing aids with Bluetooth connection is the Signia Pure Charge&Go BTC IX. This is a brand new product as of 2025. Signia is actually currently our choice for the best overall well-rounded prescription hearing aid on the market. We think the sound quality is fantastic. It has this great charger. It has a really long battery life. But formerly, they had a lot of issues with Bluetooth connection, and that was because they were using the accessibility settings, which meant that Android users had to hold their phone up to their face to capture outbound sound instead of the onboard mics doing that work for them. It also meant that connecting to these devices was harder and less stable. So this new product that they came out with in 2025 was actually totally focused on Bluetooth connection. That was the main point of the update. And they've switched from accessibility settings based connection style to the same connection style that Phonak uses, Bluetooth Classic. So similarly to Phonak, you just go into your settings, you tap on the hearing aids, you're connected and you're off and running. When it comes to connection strength, the Signia hearing aids were right on par with Sennheiser and ReSound, but a little bit less powerful than Phonak. Again, this was 50 feet away from my phone, so in most cases, this is never going to become an issue. It's a really stable product, holds connection in a really strong way. Also similar to Phonak, these Signia devices can connect to multiple different device types, including phones, computers, and your laptop. Okay, our third choice among the best prescription devices with Bluetooth connection is the ReSound Vivia. This is also a new product as of 2025. Again, receiver and canal format. Piece sits behind the ear. That's what's controlling all the Bluetooth, piping sound into your ears. Now, the reason that ReSound Vivia makes this list is because of the work they're doing with Auracast connectivity. So they're not using Bluetooth Classic like Signia or Phonak, and usually that means you'll need to set up your ReSound hearing aids inside of the accessibility settings in your phone. That also comes with some limitations for Android users. Again, you'll have to hold your phone up to your face in order to capture that outbound sound. But ReSound is the only manufacturer that is actively building Auracast connection into their hearing aids. So if you don't know what Auracast is, we have a whole video, which I'll link somewhere up here, but Auracast essentially will allow us in the future to stream audio directly into our hearing aids in public spaces. So imagine a theater, an airport, a train station. You could essentially select, like you would select Wi-Fi, you select an audio stream that you want to listen to, and it comes straight into your ears. I've had a chance to demo this technology within ReSound, and it's pretty amazing. I was watching a speaker at a conference, and I simply selected the audio from that speaker, live audio from that speaker, comes straight into my ears, crystal clear sound. So this is something that will be very exciting in the future. The implementation of it in public spaces is still fairly limited, but it is rolling out over time. So ReSound is making this exciting bet that Auracast is where they want to be in the future. This is really an innovation space for them. Once you do get these devices connected through the Auracast settings, the strength of connection based on our tests is very similar to what you'd find for Signia or Sennheiser products. Again, in most use cases, this is not going to be a problem. In past generations of hearing aids, there have been issues where maybe you put your phone in your back pocket and it starts to crackle inside of your ears. It's not even able to make that connection. We really aren't in that space anymore. The leading products on the market are able to hold a connection at 50 feet or more and even through multiple walls. So as we round out the prescription set, you might be wondering, hey, what about sound quality? Which of these hearing aids actually sounds best streaming into my ears? Or where's the music fidelity and the overall notes and clarity of sound? There's a couple of things to know about sound quality and streaming related to hearing aids. The first is that maybe the most important factor in how you hear your streamed sound is the style of ear tip that you actually use. So if you use a more closed off ear tip, you're going to hear a higher fidelity of sound. If you use a more open ear tip, you're going to hear a lower fidelity of sound. That's just because the streamed sound has a tendency to leak out of your ear, and that creates the opposite of what you might expect from a really bassy set of headphones. Now, every day, I enjoy casually streaming through my hearing aids, but if I'm going to be listening to an audiobook for, let's say, 3 hours, or I'm going to be taking a long phone call, I almost always do turn to my headphones. That's because the sound quality of streamed sound is just not on par with something like AirPods or a big over-ear set of headphones. Now, it's also worth noting that hearing aids customize the streamed sound that you hear to your particular hearing loss. So each person will hear the fidelity of music just a little bit differently. To my ear, Phonak, Signia, ReSound, and even some of the other devices that we'll talk about in the over-the-counter category have a very similar sound quality and fidelity. So the most important factors I'm looking at are how do they connect and how stable is that connection once I'm moving about my day-to-day life. Okay, let's move on to the over-the-counter category. These are products that you can order online. You can order them at Soundly.com actually. They're shipped to your home. You program them using a smartphone device. That's worth noting. If you purchase through Soundly.com, you get an audiologist setup call included with every purchase. You'll also get lots of perks, like with this product, you can get 100-day returns, which is only available at Soundly.com. Now, if you're looking for an over-the-counter device that also has Bluetooth connection, there are really three products that we would consider best in class. And the first and overall winner is the Sennheiser All-Day Clear. Now, this is actually made by the same manufacturer as the Phonak hearing aids. Still that behind the ear style, made by Sonova, the Swiss company that makes Phonak, and it uses the same Bluetooth Classic connection style. So essentially you're connecting your hearing aids through the main settings section of your phone. That works for Android and iPhone. This is a really versatile overall quality hearing aid, typically retails for about $1,000, so significantly less expensive than what you'll find in a local clinic. Sennheiser is currently our best seller over at Soundly.com for a number of different reasons. Overall sound quality is one of them, comfort, all-day wear, and then Bluetooth connection is also another big factor in that. Now, when it comes to streaming strength, this one was right on par with ReSound and Signia, so about 50 feet away from our studio before we started to lose connection. The next Bluetooth connected product that you might consider is the Sony CRE E10. So Sony has a few different over-the-counter hearing aids on the market. The best seller that we have is the C20, and that is not a Bluetooth connected hearing aid. It's more focused on invisibility. But they also have this earbud style device, which is actually based on the Signia Active product that you'd find at a local clinic, and it does connect specifically to iPhone. So no Android connection in this case. And in general, the connection is just a little bit weaker than what you'll find in a receiver and canal device. We found this device was able to make it around the corner and about 30 feet away from the studio, but then we started to lose connection. So the receiver and canal format really wins when it comes to that durability of the actual connection stream. Also, of course, you have the limitation of this only being connectable through iPhone devices. But if you are committed to an earbud style device, this has good sound quality and it streams well from iPhones. Just like Sennheiser hearing aids, you can purchase Sony devices over at Soundly.com with all of our normal perks. Now, our last over-the-counter winner when it comes to Bluetooth connection is the Elehear Beyond. Now, this is really a budget hearing aid. It's $399 currently on our site, comes with all the same perks, an audiologist setup call and returns and manufacturer warranty, but it's a simpler, more entry-level device. Typically, we see the outside world sound quality of Elehear Beyond just a step below what you'd find with something like Sennheiser. But interestingly, when we put it through our Bluetooth connection test, Elehear Beyond actually had a stronger connection. It went out to about 65 feet, just short of where Phonak was at. Part of the reason for that is that this is a larger hearing aid, so they have more room for a more robust antenna, but it's still very impressive. A very low cost option that has a strong connection, pretty reasonable fidelity, and it has decent sound quality for things like background noise and sudden sound management. So definitely a device to consider if you're looking to spend a little bit less. All right, so the final product is a little bit of a wild card, and that is the AirPods Pro 2. So these are traditional consumer audio headphones that you might already have in your home. And as of late 2024, they actually have a feature that allows them to amplify outside world sound in the way that a hearing aid would. So there's a hearing mode you can turn on in your iPhone. We have a full video on this process that we'll link somewhere up here. Now, in our view, AirPods Pro 2 are not a total replacement for an all-day hearing aid, but if you're just getting started or you have a product like this in your home, you can try it out as a hearing aid. Of course, the Bluetooth connection, especially for iPhones, is incredibly seamless. Apple really creates a magical connection between iPhones and their AirPods Pro. This is the reason that 100 million plus people have this product across the world. And when we tested the strength of connection, as you might expect, it had the strongest connection with our iPhone. So it went out to beyond where Phonak hearing aids were able to reach to about 80 or 90 feet away from our test studio. So there's really no doubt, if you're looking for a Bluetooth connected pair of headphones / hearing aids, these are going to be some of the best products on the market. You have to, of course, then consider whether they'll meet all of your hearing criteria, but overall, this is a kind of interesting option to consider. Okay, so to wrap all of this up, how should you think about the overall Bluetooth hearing aid category? Now, the first thing to note is that Bluetooth streaming, while very important, probably isn't the number one thing we'd look at when making a final decision. What you'll probably want to do is make sure the hearing aids you're choosing have the appropriate amount of Bluetooth connection that will meet your needs while also checking the other boxes on your list. Boxes like budget, care method, and of course, outside world sound processing. Most people wear hearing aids not for their Bluetooth connection, but to hear voices around them clearer. Thankfully, this technology has gotten a lot better over the last few years, and really any of the products that we talked about today will have a strong Bluetooth offering. If you have any questions or want a second opinion about over-the-counter or prescription devices, head over to soundly.com. We're happy to answer those questions. And of course, you can purchase products directly through us with follow-up care, extra perks like longer return policies and warranties, etc. And if you made it to this point in the video and you decide to purchase hearing aids through soundly.com, use code HEARSOUNDLY at checkout for a little discount as a thank you for sticking with us in this video. We hope this information has been helpful, and we wish you the best in your research.